Hi everyone, I'm Sasha from Women's Fight News, and today joining me is ex-GB amateur and new professional boxer, Raven Chapman. So Raven, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice intro.
And thanks for giving up your time, because I know you're so busy training. Like you've just said, you only done 2 sessions today, only.
Yeah, no, normally I try and squeeze in three sessions, but yeah, today they've been a bit easier on me and just given me 2.
You'll pay for that tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
So when you're having like 2 or 3 sessions, what are they including?
So it's pads, sparring, S&C, running. Today it was pads this morning, then I had S&C this afternoon. A little bit of a lighter day. Tuesdays are normally my lighter day. So working on a bit more technique during the pad session, and what was my S&C? I can't even remember. I did power yesterday. It was just going through little bits, more mobility today.
Yeah. I'd hate to see what your Friday is like if that's your Tuesday.
Yeah. Honestly, I would not have been able to have a conversation with you on Friday. I could have even managed one-word answers. But yeah, so I've got that to look forward to again this week. So yeah.
And how is life now that you're officially a professional boxer? So obviously you would have had in your head a while that this was going to happen, but now it's official. Has anything changed for you, like mentally?
Nothing's really changed, but I suppose that there's a bit more hunger, because it's sort of like I could get a fight date at any moment. Like I don't know when it's going to be. So just staying ready, really. Like, I wish I had a date, because I love to be in the gym. I'm always in the gym and always training, and it's that kind of thing where don't do too much, because you don't want to, drain yourself before you even get a date or anything, because then you're just constantly in the camp. But I like to be in the gym. It's where I feel good, and it's nice now that I'm spending more time with my team. So I've got my team around me constantly letting me know like what I'm doing for the week, what trainings we've got in plan, what I've got in store, so I know how to fuel myself ready for every session. So it's working really well. We're getting a good little rapport, a good routine going, which is really working well for me, I think.
Yeah, and you just said then, and it's true, that you don't want to push too hard at times, because you don't know when you're going to get that call. Like we're seeing fighters like Beck Connolly got a phone call not too long ago, and you don't want to obviously burn out. So it must be really difficult when you don't have a date to know what stage of training to be at.
Definitely, because you're always like peaking and coming down as well, so it's kind of you want to be ready when it's time to go, rather than being ready halfway through and you still got like 4 weeks to go and you're starting to feel tired. So it's a little bit of juggling and stuff, but I'm just keeping fit at the moment, keeping the strength up, working on different things that I want to work on and add to my game and things like that. So it's been really good in that aspect, being able to change my style slightly, add all the little pro tricks and the slight differences between amateur and pro, adding all of that stuff in. So in that sense, it's been good to really knuckle down and work on those things, so that when I do finally get in the ring, I've got them under my belt.
Yeah, definitely. And so if we go back to the beginning, at what age was you when you got into boxing? What was the reason for it?
So boxing, I went to the gym about 16, 17, sort of got into it then, but I grew up around martial arts, really. I grew up with my dad, and he was a big kickboxer and did Muay Thai and things like that. So I'd always kind of been around it, always hit the pads. I was much more into football from like young teenage going onwards, but always loved boxing, always. Even when I did a little bit of kickboxing, always preferred the punching aspect of the kickboxing. I'm not very flexible, so I can get my legs anywhere for a good kick. So I just kind of ended up deciding to take the plunge and actually join a boxing club. I think I didn't have a lot of confidence in doing it at the start, but I'm glad I did finally do it. I wish I'd sort of started taking it more seriously, even when I started, because you didn't see many girls around doing it. None of your friends were doing it. It was one of those, you kind of missed out on a lot, and you kind of, I'd want to hang out with my friends, and I kind of wanted to train, but I didn't find a very good balance, and ended up not doing that much until I got to about 20, 21, and I started taking it really seriously, thinking, oh, I can actually do something with this if I put my mind to it. So I decided to do it then. It took me a couple of years, but I think, like I say, as that confidence, I just grew a bit more in confidence as I got over those like teen years and got a little bit older. And just sort of put myself out there to do it.
Yeah, because I mean, I think teenage girls are like that all the time, aren't they? It is difficult, and especially getting into a sport, and like you say, you want to be out with like your friends doing other bits and bobs.
Yeah,
I remember reading that you said you'd had like confidence issues in the ring when you first started competing. So clearly that's not the case anymore. So how have you gone from that to your confidence levels now?
So my only way to describe it would have been a little bit like stage fright. Sort of everything was good in the gym and everyone really saw something in me, and then suddenly it'd be like the stage fright, and it's almost like you forgot how to do everything. And then after that little hurdle, I kind of got into my flow of things, and I found that little fire in my belly to sort of help me with it, and it just took off from there. And I think the club I was with in Bournemouth, Arena Boxing Club, the coaches really helped bring that out in me as well. You know, sometimes you just need that person that can really get into your head and get you to do what you know they know you're capable of, but making you actually believe it. So I think that really helped for me, and that was my whole turnaround. And it was like, oh yeah, maybe I am like good, like people say I am, and I can do something with this. And like I say, it's just that belief. As soon as you believe in it, I think you can put your mind to anything. You can do anything as long as you believe in yourself. I truly believe that because of how I started and how I am now. And, you know, I'm sort of a walking book for that. Just because when you start, you're not failing, but you're not there yet. It doesn't mean that you can't get there when it comes to it. So yeah,
I completely agree with that. My background's tennis, and I was always known for buckling under the pressure all the time. So when I read that, I was like, oh, I can relate to that. But then you've taken it a lot better than me and was obviously able to deal with that. So, but it is true. I think it's being surrounded by the right people as well. Definitely. That's to bring out your confidence. It's a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes it can just be that luck encounter, or you know, that chance meeting with that right person, or someone says that right sentence that just turns everything around. And that's exactly what it was for me, because I loved doing it. It was just that belief in myself that I needed, and luckily I had someone that really brought it out in me. So I don't look back now.
No, definitely. And you ended up having really good success in the amateurs, didn't you?
Yeah. So I won my first national title 2015, won the elites in 2016, got onto the GB team, boxed for England. No, I got on the England team, boxed for England. Then I got GB trials, got onto the GB team, and just got to go through all the steps, progress up there, and you know, picking up as much information as I could on the way to help me improve.
So what's it like being part of the GB team? So you're surrounded by, you know, more elite boxers like yourself. You bring up the best out in each other. What's that like?
Oh, it's a really good place to be in. It's a very high pressure environment. but it's good because everyone does like bring everyone else along as well, you know, even on the track. Even you're only competing with yourself on the track, but people are still trying to help you as you go through, and you know they understand because everyone's going through exactly the same thing, everyone's been through the same thing to get to where you are. So there's all that sort of mutual respect with everyone, and it's just a good environment because, like I say, just that extra push really helps you dig in that little bit more to get that little bit fitter, like do that extra round on the pad, do another round. Like it's just, it's a really nice environment to be around. And then, you know, just being up there, it's a great place to be. You know, all the people around the walls that have been to the Olympics, won the medals, and it's really inspiring. And working with a few of the coaches that have been there for years, and the amount of knowledge that they have and what they can bring to you as well. It's a really great experience, and I'm just so glad I was able to be a part of it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's every person's dream, isn't it?
Yeah,
especially when you start
exactly.
boxing, to be a part of that,
Yeah.
of that setup. Obviously we've had COVID and the Olympics were cancelled, but was Olympics on your radar last year?
Yeah, it was. Obviously it's something that I think every amateur wants to, you know, get to and aspires to. But things happen and it doesn't always go to plan, and you got to make the right decisions that are for you at the end of the day. And one door closes, another door opens, and that's exactly how I felt it was for me. And I'm getting a bit older. I didn't want to try and be there for as long as possible. And like women's pro boxing was really starting to boom, and I've always had more of that little pro style, and it's something I've always really wanted to do, especially because a few years back, you know, women's boxing only had a few weights in the Olympics, and it's not even been in the Olympics for 10 years yet, and it's crazy to think that. So the amount of opportunities that are opening now, but back then it was always a goal for me to turn professional. So I decided to go down that route now.
Yeah, and you're seeing it more and more as well. I mean, Sandy Ryan's also just turned over, and I think it's not where you have to go to win the medal. It's different now. There's different paths and different ways to get to that pro level now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like I say, it all comes with, there's a lot more opportunities now in women's boxing. Like I say, when I first went down the boxing gym, no other girls were doing it. I didn't know of any opportunities back then. It didn't look like there was that much. So now to be able to see it a lot more, it's becoming a lot bigger. There's a lot more people getting behind it. It's brilliant because it's what the sport deserves. You know, I mean, all women's sports deserve more recognition. So having other options is so important, because otherwise you're really condensing it down for opportunities, because then there's a lot less opportunities for people, and I think you need to be able to see a bigger picture.
Yeah, definitely. And you then took the decision to sign up with Stefy Bull as your manager. So, and I know you've trained with Terri for a few years now. So was that going to be like the natural path for you to sign with Stefy?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, training up there for over 2.5 years, helping Terri for her, you know, world title defences. I just built a really good rapport with them, a good friendship. And I think that's so important, especially in the program game, to be able to be confident in your manager and have that rapport with them and relationship, and be able to message them about anything, and sort of feeling like they've really got your back. And that's how I feel with Stefy. I feel like he's really got my back, and he's gonna try and do his best to do the best for me. And you can just see the proof with what he's done for Terri. So I know I'm in really good hands, and yeah, completely just can't wait for him to help me get me on the journey now.
Yeah, because he has so much belief in you. You can tell already.
Yeah.
I think he put out a tweet saying that he'd put you in the ring with world champions on your debut, and you can just see the confidence and belief, and that's someone everyone would want in their team.
Definitely, and it helps because then it reinforces that confidence then in me. You know, I've got all these people around me that really believe in my abilities and what I can do, and they've seen me in there. You know, sparring Terri is hard work. And I can hold my own in there with Terri, and she's world champion now. So I know it won't take me that long to get there. And the reason I know that is because I've got people like Stefy that believe in me, that make me believe it myself. And I think that's so important, especially with a team. You want people to really get behind you. And I think I've got a great team around me.
Yeah, because I think that's half the battle, isn't it? It's the mental side. And if you've got the right people around you, I think that just helps so much.
Yeah, so much. And I think for me, it's the main difference. Like, it's a lot more personable. Whereas from the amateur side and in GB, it's not quite as a lot of individuality and trying to get noticed. Whereas this is a lot more, you know, you can put your care in the hands of, say, my S&C coach and my boxing coach and my manager, and know that they're working on doing the best for me, and they're going to work on my strengths and making them even better, as well as upping anything else I need to up in my game. So I think that's so important, and I know I've got a great team, and I think we've made so many improvements already, and it's only been a few months. So to think in this time next year how much improvement I'll have made as well, it is crazy, really. And I know I'm going to keep on improving with the help of my team.
Yeah, so exciting.
Yeah.
And obviously you've just said that you spent about 2.5 years with Terri, obviously helping her in her camps. And like I say, she's a world champion. In my opinion, probably soon to be undisputed.
Yeah.
So what's that like to be around someone? I mean, Terry's like, you know, for me, pound for pound best. So what's that like to be like surrounded with her and be involved in her camps?
Yeah, it's a really great environment to be in. And especially when I was up there, I was having a few bits where I didn't love boxing as much as I used to. I didn't know if I still wanted to do it anymore. You know, everyone gets these little bits at some point, I think, in a career. But being around Terri and Stefy really just reignited that love for it, because just being around, it was contagious being around them. And like the hard work ethic and everything else, it just really rubbed off on everyone around there. So it's just a really nice place to be, nice place to train in. Everyone's so positive and, you know, just there to do the best for you as a boxer. And also, obviously, still being in an amateur, being in a pro camp was quite different. So learning firsthand the differences. So I know now when I go in and do my pro camps, I'll have a better idea of what to expect, because I've been there and seen it and witnessed Terri going through it, and so know a little bit more how it will play out, and, you know, working your way up each week to the final fight day, because it's so in the amateurs you don't have that. You know, you could be boxing one day, the next day. You could have someone say, oh, you're at a tournament, we're going away in 4 weeks time, and it's like, that's not a lot of time. So that's the difference. And obviously seeing it, witnessing it firsthand, I think it's prepared me even more for when I do eventually get to go and do it myself.
Yeah, it's great experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you say, and you know what to expect as well. It won't be a shock to the system.
Yeah.
When you said that you were kind of like falling out of love with boxing, was there a particular reason, or did you just felt a bit fed up with everything at the time?
Yeah, I think I was just like fed up with everything at the time. You know, everyone, I think most people go through things, and it can zap your love for things that you thought you would never fall out of love with. And just, I think I was just unfortunate that I started to really resent boxing. I didn't want to do it anymore. And because of that, it was like going through the motions. Every time I said, I was just going through the motions. There was no joy, but there was like an almost nothingness towards it. So I'm glad that, you know, when you go through that, I think when you come past it, it makes you stronger. I think it's really cheesy, but it really does it. And because you've got through that and you still want to do it, it does make you realize how much it means to you to be able to do it. Like the thought of not boxing, I couldn't cope with that. I'd have to box. So it's one of those. I think a lot of people do it, and I think if you can manage to get past it, it just shows how strong that passion for it is. And I'm glad that I did, because I've got so much excitement now. But I think it always, you know, if you change up things, it creates something else, doesn't it? So if you're in a place where you're stale, but you keep on doing the same thing, it's not going to change. So that's kind of what I felt like. I just felt like I was stale and I needed to change it up, and the opportunity came up, so I took it. And now it's like that burn, that hunger, that fire for it has all come back, and I just can't wait now to like get back in the ring again. And I haven't felt like that in a while.
Yeah, and then you're going to appreciate it even more now as well, you know, knowing that you've been through it where you weren't enjoying it, and now you're back to loving it. You won't look back now.
You don't take it for granted anymore. Like being able to actually do it, to put everything into every session now.
So hopefully you're going to get a date. I know you don't know, do you, when you could make
hopefully
debut, and it's a bit of a strange time. Yeah. What weight are you going to be fighting at?
Featherweight.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's loads in that weight. Some big fights to be made.
Yeah, hopefully soon.
And I saw on Twitter you like called out Amanda Serrano. Loved that straight away. I was like, that is the confidence I love to see straight away.
Yeah. I feel like it was a little bit tongue in cheek. So obviously she isn't going to have a clue who I am. Like, who's this person? I ignore them. It's just fair enough. He's WBC champ. And like, I respect Amanda Serrano so much. I think she's an awesome boxer, great pioneer for women's boxing. But obviously I'd be in that weight at the moment. She's got the belt, one of the biggest belts in that weight. So I was like, I'll just be cheeky and put something out there, but hopefully one day I will be able to get the opportunity to share a ring with her and fight for that belt. So that's obviously the goal.
Yeah, definitely. For me, she's like pound for pound one of the best again. I always think she's a bit underlooked for some reason.
Yeah, definitely. You know what she's done. You know, she's broken records in boxing, you know, the amount, like 7-weight world champion, and what she's doing in MMA. You know, I think she's an all-round great role model for women's boxing and women in sport. So to get the opportunity to share a ring with her would be brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be a good fight to watch.
Yeah.
Do you have your eyes on anyone else in the division?
Well, I'll box anybody, you know, I'll fight anyone. Obviously what I want, I'm after world titles. So all of them with the titles, they're the fights that I want at the end of the day. So yeah, whatever I need to do to get there, I'll do it. Yeah.
And we're seeing obviously Ebony Bridges and Shannon Courtney's just been announced for a world title fight, and I think they're 4 and 6 fights, 5 and 6 fights in.
Yeah.
So do you have in your head how many fights you're going to need or want to get yourself to a world title position?
No, I'm not thinking about that. I'll just leave that to Stefy. I know I've seen like he wants to fast track me, and I put that on Twitter. I have one, and then he'll fast track me. So whether he thinks I'll go along with it. If he tells me he's boxing Amanda Serrano after 2 fights, I'll be like, okay, I'm going in. Like, so yeah, whoever he puts in front of me, I'll happily get in the ring and box them and take it from there.
Yeah, exciting time.
Yeah.
Yeah, really exciting. And last question. Obviously, the style is very different from amateur to pro.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the style you're kind of looking to have as a professional boxer?
So I think I've always been told by people that watch me in the amateurs, you're really suited to the pros. It's the way you move. I think definitely now I've really got my head movement working again. I love head movement. I love going to the body. I'm quite aggressive, come forward. But I can still box. Obviously, I've still got my amateur pedigree, and I still know how to box. But I like to have a fight, and sometimes I've got to hold back from that, because having a fight can make things very close. But yeah, so I'm adjusting to little things really well, and I'm excited to be able to actually do it in the proper pro ring with the gloves and see how it feels. Obviously, I feel like my coach and Stefy, I said I'm going to knock everyone out. I'm like, oh, I haven't even laced up a pro glove yet. But hopefully I will when I put them on. I've been working on my power, make sure. So,
you're going to have to now.
Yeah, I know. More pressure, God. But yeah, hopefully I won't look for it. Hopefully they just come. I think I've got that natural power. Hopefully they come, and like I say, all those little adjustments that I'm making, holding the feet a bit more, not being quite as in and out on the toes in like you do in amateurs, and holding my feet, standing my ground, and throwing in a little bit more power rather than point shots, and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be so exciting when you get in the ring.
No, I honestly, I cannot wait. It won't come soon enough, I can tell you.
Well, I really hope it's soon, not just for you, but for me. I just can't wait to watch. And I know there'll be loads of people that are so excited to see you in the ring.
I hope so.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep all my fingers crossed that you get a date sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. It'd be nice.
Raven, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed that chat.
Thank you for talking to me.
Not a problem. And like I say, best of luck, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully when I've got that date.
Yes, definitely. 100%.
Brilliant.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Sasha.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ready for new content dropping all the time. Also, give Women's Fight News a follow on Twitter and on Instagram.